Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the older man. Today, we're going to talk about starfish sex in your marriage. And listen, I gave it that name because that is the common expression when a woman is no longer emotionally attached to the sexual activity in the bedroom, so she just lies there. No hugging, no intimacy, legs open, arms by her side or out. It doesn't matter. She's not hugging her husband. It's just, let me get this over and done with because he wants it type of feeling. So it's all about intimacy in the bedroom when married. Now, it's a difficult thing for me to discuss with you because I'm a married man, been at it for 20 years. It's a ticklish subject, I can tell you. We went through a hard time in our sex life as well. I had to address it. I went through a lot of frustration because part of the natural course of action for all couples is that it starts out great. Then you're going to go through a slump. Then you're going to go through a frustrating event. And then something going to happen where one person, one or the other, is going to get really freaking upset. And you either fix it or you get out. Those are the normal courses of action. Cool? One party don't want to fix it, usually the woman, because she knows on divorce, she's going to end up in the better position, or so she thinks. Cool? And this came up because I have hosted 3 calls in the last 4 days where the men are going through sexless marriages, or the one last night, starfish marriage, meaning she's doing it, but she's not really there. She's not connected. And so, guys, that's what we're going to deal with right now. I know a lot of you older men who have been married have gone through this shit because I've read the hundreds and hundreds of comments that you did post in my last video. I think I did around 2 months ago when I did address sexless marriage, when there was no sex at all. So as I was doing my research on this subject, first thing that came up on YouTube was one of my favorite content creators, Karen Seitz, with the YouTube channel, The Happy Wife School. She had this discussion as well. So I thought I would share that video with you guys and break it down and share some other videos and this gentleman's story from last night so that you could see how crazy the world can be when it comes to marriage. And listen, I don't tell you this to discourage you about marriage. I share this with you because I know a lot of men are going through it, and I'm trying to get you to understand how to deal with it, all right? That's what I'm trying to get you to do here. So guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Book a session with me if you'd like to have a chat. But more importantly, come on over to the membership site. I'll put the URL link in the description, but also mention it right here. So let's listen to what this lawyer has to say first, because ultimately, I don't like to tell people to get a divorce. When people call me, getting a divorce is the last thing I want to recommend. But to be honest, in this case last night, it was one of the few cases I had to recommend it if something didn't change, because this man was hurting. But there's some other factors that are involved that you got to hear. Drives you crazy, man. But let's listen to the lawyer.
Take it from a divorce lawyer. The lack of sex in your marriage will lead to the end of your marriage. Now, it's normal in relationships for the initial spark to wane. We cannot be in the honeymoon period forever. But if you and your spouse aren't having sex ever, that's a problem and it's unsustainable. If you and your spouse can't work on these issues together, consider going to marriage counseling or sex therapy. Take advantage of these resources. But if you try therapy and you try talking to your spouse about the lack of sex and you're still not having sex, a big decision needs to be made. To stay married or not to stay married. Take it from a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, he's smiling a little bit too much. More than likely, he want you to freaking divorce because he know that he's going to be making some money. He's going to be making money. So I don't put a lot of faith. Anyone who's going to benefit from this, from the pain, listen, man, work it out as hard as you guys can. Listen, this idea of the spark, I spoke about this on quite a few shows early in my YouTube channel. The idea that women look for this spark is one of the most fundamental flaws in relationship. I say do not look for the spark. Look for the fire, okay? Look for that warm, sustainable feeling as opposed to a spark that flares up and then burns out. because that seems to be the biggest problem in relationships. All right. Let's do this, Karen. So we're going to get into the middle of her conversation here where she's reading one of the comments from her followers who's dissing her. Okay, let's get into it.
This B is spreading lies about women. Every time we have sex, we feel like we are giving another piece of ourselves away. Who made this up? She has no right to speak on behalf of women. After my wedding, I want sex more than before. Lies, lies, lies. I wonder what her reason is to want to spread all these lies. So thank you for the comment.
Oh, she's so polite. But I hate it when women make that comment. She has no right to speak on the behalf of women. Really? She's a woman, and she's a married woman, and she's a freaking counselor or relationship coach, or she's someone trying to help. She got hundreds of thousands of people giving her feedback on a daily. Just like this channel, she has no right. When you are living in your little cocoon, your little one-person balloon. So unless you have a YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of followers, with hundreds of thousands of comments every single week, then be quiet, man. It's unbelievable. Oh, you don't have any right to talk on behalf of women, but you do. I'm talking to you, the person who commented on her like this.
Here's the thing. It is very, very common. And I have heard this so many times. I've seen it in other comments on the videos. I've heard this over the last decade of working with women. It is very, very common that as women, when we're, the very first question that I answered, when we're running on empty and we have nothing left to give at the end of the day, we're not taking care of ourselves. We do perceive having sex as we're giving another piece of ourselves away that we do not have to give. And the reason we feel that way as women is that we feel very empty inside because we are not taking care of ourselves. We're disconnected from ourselves. We don't know who we are. We don't like ourselves because of how we show up, the behaviors we haven't been able to change, that we live and can't victim around, which makes us feel very bad about ourselves. There's no connection, which it creates that deep emptiness we feel. So many women feel that they have nothing left to give at the end of the day. So when they have sex, they do feel like they're just giving another piece of themselves.
Yes, camp victim. This is the biggest issue that a lot of women are facing. Think about it. When a woman actually get married, right? She's technically off the market. And if she's married to a man who has boundaries, she's no longer marketing herself. So she's not getting that constant validation and attention online, right? Number two, she has a child. So a lot of her biological urges to procreate has diminished. So her sex drive isn't naturally as high. Number three, her body has been distorted. She's gained weight and or she's got stretch marks, she has loose skin, etc. So her whole psyche about being single is off. Number four, her pelvis girdle, she sneezes, she's going to pee a little. She coughs, she's going to pee a little. She laughs, she's going to pee a little. That weak pelvis girdle occurs because she had to push a child through that bloody little canal. So a lot of changes occur with a woman. So she's not feeling in her peak sexual phase. But the thing is, women have to understand that that is part of her biological change that she has to go through, and she has to combat that. She has to fix that. It's no different than if a man got out of shape and he can't get it up. You better fix it. You better get to the gym. You better get that testosterone back up. It's no different than if a man loses his job. You better find another freaking job, because she's not going to hang around taking care of your ass for any long periods of time. So both parties have a responsibility to provide what the other party wants and needs. But because women and what we call female solipsism, women can only see the world through their lens alone. They really don't have empathy for the other party. She only sees it as her giving up something. But she don't think about what the man is constantly contributing. That's not important. He should be doing that. But I don't have to give up my body. It's my body. If I don't feel like doing it, I shouldn't have to do it. That's how they think. And I'm saying to you, ladies, you can't think like that and expect the man to hang around feeling like, oh, I'm good with this. No.
Men have also shared with me that their wives have actually told them that. Actually said the words, I just have nothing left to give you. And will actually tell their husbands that. And then they have shared that with me. And that's the perspective we live in as victims, as women, because we think the man is constantly wanting something from us when it comes to sex, and we have nothing in ourselves to give them. So we feel resentful and burdened by sex.
Imagine that. Constantly wanting something from us, where the man is supposed to be what you call the workhorse. He better be protecting and providing my ass. What does she have to do? Cook, clean? No, she don't even have to do that these days. Most of that work, the man has to do half of that, because that's what society says that he should now be doing, because both parties are out there working. She will complain that she's tired every single day. Okay, all right. It's almost like, okay, you want sex again? Okay. Starfish. Okay, hurry up. I gotta go. I gotta do this. Hurry up. Hurry up. Even doing it watching TV. Even doing anything else except switched on to please him. Yeah, this is what men go through.
And that's why if a woman is still having sex, even when she's running on empty and feels she has nothing left to give, that's why many men suffer from starfish sex in bed, where it's just wife just laying there, just get it over with if you're going to do it. That's where that comes from. It's because we live in camp victim. We're not giving anything to ourselves. We're empty. And then that's why good men end up with a starfish in bed. So say this woman who made this comment really did want more sex after her wedding. Well, talked about this a couple weeks ago. Also have to know that the reason that we want more sex, having a high sex drive as women, is a myth. There's always a hidden agenda. We have a hidden agenda of why we want a lot of sex in marriage from our husbands. So I thought it'd be helpful to look at 3 reasons some women want more sex after getting married, which is very, very rare. Just read through the comments on my videos. Very, very rare. But 3 reasons some women want more sex. Number 1.
Listen, short break. I keep telling ladies, every single time you want to come back at me at my videos, just please read the comment section. Go through the entire comment section and read what men are saying. It's just not my words alone. Read the comment section where you're seeing it live in front of you, that I'm not shooting bullshit. Or, like she said, just read the comment section. Most women don't want to freaking do that. La, 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 not true, not true, not true. No, not what you said. No, I don't want to hear anybody else. It's not true. You're a misogynist.
Number 1, to stay in control of their husbands, to make sure he doesn't leave and he doesn't stray, and have her hooks in him. So it's a method, an ulterior motive of control.
Man, I had this brother, man. He said, boss, I was going out with this Spanish girl. He said, she would give me a BJ every single time I want to leave the house. At first, I really liked it, man. You know, it was like, wow. But then he realized what she was doing. And he asked her one day, babe, you know, why you do that? And she says, I need to make sure that your bowls are empty before you leave this house, so that you don't have any desire to cheat on me when you get out of the house. So she was making sure. Now, that's a benefit and a curse. But when it becomes almost like, bring it here, I got to do this before you go. When it becomes like that, and not a beautiful thing where she's want to be intimate, it's not that much fun after that. Men want to enjoy the sex, feeling that she also wants it. No man wants the starfish. No man. Unless he has some sick fetish where, sleeping with dead people or something. There are all kinds out there, man.
The second reason some women might want more sex after getting married. Number 2, trying to get pregnant. And then once she gets pregnant, it'll stop. And the third reason some women want more sex after marriage, it's another method of emasculation so that he feels inadequate in the bedroom. It's another way she emasculates him and makes him feel inadequate in the bedroom because she'll say, I want more sex than you. What's wrong with you that you don't want sex as much as I want it? You're a man. You should always want it. So it's just another tactic of emasculation.
Oh, I never heard of that one before, but I can see how it makes sense. Oh, wow. Listen, man, female manipulation knows no boundaries. But the idea of being in a relationship where you have no intimacy is a massive thing. So, of course, I went over to the TikTok department. I had to get some clips on this. But first, I had to hear a little bit about what people were saying in the comment section over on Karen's page. I want to read a few things from men. SWNN says, most married women don't want sex and see it as a chore. Sexless marriages are well above the average. Yes. And you know why? It's simply because in this over-sexualized age, where women, before they get married, have gone through so many different sexual partners, and I've said this many times, one man cannot or no longer please her alone. He can only do it for a very short period of time because in the past, she has been very accustomed to changing those men out whenever it started to get mundane or boring or routine. So it's very difficult. So usually now, once you pass 3 years, the woman starts to get into this I'm bored type of feeling in her head. Before, it used to be 7 years. It used to be what you call a 7-year itch. But nowadays, it's 3 years. 3 years now, women looking to freaking pull the plug. They start to get bored because they get overstimulated from freaking dating apps and social media. Same shit. The overstimulation of women is a serious problem. The second problem is the romantic notions of marriages and relationships. I heard this from Coach Greg Adams the other day, and it really freaking stuck with me. And I had to analyze it because I had this discussion with a group of guys. Romantic notions of women and the sexual revolution was a massive benefit to men who were 6 foot tall, had enough good looks, had acquired enough funds, and was able to just present himself as successful. Because punani was just being thrown at you constantly. Never had to work hard for it at all. That's what feminism and the sexual revolution did. Couple that with romance and romance novels and freaking rom-coms, romantic comedy movies that exploded. Every single rom-com out there romanticizes a woman cheating. She finds a man by cheating with a better man. But the problem with that is romance also put a massive amount of pressure on men. I'm going to speak on this in detail in another video. Because what romance did was it made men feel that they had to produce and make women happy all the time. That's impossible to do. That's why there's so many divorces right now. But what it did, it produced a shitload of dopamine with these unrealistic expectations. That's what romance did to relationships. Relationships were not supposed to be this high-powered, exciting journey that you went through from the beginning of saying I do to the end of time. That's the reason why rom-coms and fairy tales end with they lived happily ever after. It never ends with showing them going through the ups and downs of relationships and getting fat during the marriage. All of them just end with them young, happy, beautiful people getting married and then stopping. Finish. They live happily ever after. No, that's not the story. The story is I want to see when she had the first child and how she gained weight and how she farts in bed and how she has to deal with him with other bitches trying to get at him. And I want to hear all of the ups and downs. I want to hear about him having to deal with her and the concubines in the palace. I want to hear about all the stuff. You know, one thing is beautiful about watching today's royal family, watching the realities of life play out in front of you. Princess Diana married King Charles, but what did he do? He cheated on her. He cheated on her with the current woman. They all called her a hoe, and there's audio files of when that was leaked of him talking about eating her tampons and smelling the real shit. They don't tell you that when the humble girl meets the prince. No, they don't tell you that in fairy tale stories. They lived happily ever after. Bullshit, because it's unrealistic. But women in today's day and age are still looking for that. And who they're looking for it from? For men to provide it to them. They don't have to provide anything. They just show up. Nothing in that story indicates that the princess cooked and cleaned and she had to give him his daily sex and the BJs and make sure that she rubbed his back. None of that shit is in there. None. That's why it's dangerous. Romance is dangerous for relationship. Just like porn is dangerous for sex. And why say it like that? It's because the things that are realistically done in porn by professional women who are used to being stretched by massive 10-inch things, right? That isn't normal in real life. It isn't. So they have picked the 1 in 1 millionth guy that has a 10-incher or a 12-incher. And hey, if he has that gift, by all means, use it. Get paid for that shit. Women use it all the time. All they got to do is look good. So all I'm saying, my friends, is be careful of what you ask for or what you're expecting in marriages, because there are a lot of illusions that have been created for you. But if you do not take care of the sex part in your marriage and enjoy it and show your husband that you are enjoying it like you did when you first met him, then you're going to destroy your marriage. I don't want to make this too long, but I want to play a few other videos, just people talking about why you should not mess up in your marriage.
A marriage without sexual intimacy is just a friendship. We get married to be lovers. We don't get married to be roommates or just friends. Sexual intimacy is a bonding experience between the two of you. It's meant to bring you closer together. It is the only thing that just the two of you get to do together, and it's supposed to be uniting and fun and amazing. It is for both of you to enjoy and find pleasure in together. A sexless marriage, it can survive, but it'll never thrive. No one gets married to have a sexless marriage. No one. So don't let the sexual intimacy diminish in your marriage. It is important for your relationship.
Listen, man, this guy last night that I had a chat with, he says, my wife, we have sex, but she literally don't put any effort into it. It's literally just lying. He knows that she's just doing it to get through the freaking event. He tries really hard. They've been married for 5 years. They got a child. And, he says, man, I'm just so unhappy. I feel like I don't know what to do. I asked him, did you guys seek counseling? He said, no, not yet. You're the first person I called. And I said, I would advise you to go get counseling, man, because I feel your pain. He said, but there's more. I said, okay, tell me. He said, she bought a piece of land without telling me. I said, what? Yeah. He said, she went and she bought a piece of land without telling him. And I said, who's paying for it? He says, I'm paying for most of it because she left her good paying job. She's just doing something part-time. So I'm paying for most of it. And I said, and it's not in your name? He said, no. She only told me after she put down the initial down payment and bought it. And I'm like, brother, she's planning her exit strategy. That's what she's doing. And she wants you to pay for her exit strategy. He said, well, what about my daughter? I said, you can file for joint custody, but the bottom line is she got 1 foot out of the door already. So she cuts off the sex from you. Guess what happened? You get frustrated. The marriage dies. She has an excuse. Oh, he left me. Oh, he went and cheated on me. Paul, but I'm almost 60, man. Said, think about it. Do you want to live like this? Do you want to be in this same situation until you're 70? But then when you hit 68, 69, she files for divorce? She's younger than you. I said, yeah, I know. I said, to me, you got to go get counseling and fix this. Otherwise, get out now. Because all you're going to be doing is spending unnecessary money, funding her exit strategy. And then when she does leave you, you are also going to pay for alimony at that point. Right now, it's only 4 years. Cut your losses now and get out. Because going through a divorce in your late 60s, my friend, is considerably different than going through a divorce when you are 60. It's like, yeah, I know. Anyway, point is that I saw exactly what this woman was doing to him, and this is what women do a lot in these marriages. They know that if they frustrate the husband enough by starfishing, just not putting any effort into the sex, he's going to step out. Then she will be the victim when he does something. The guy was still in great shape, looks good, still making good money. So she's just looking to freaking get paid, man. She got the child with him already, and she knows that that's what sucked him in. So unfortunately, he was screwed. So my brother, I hope you can fix it when you go to therapy, but I doubt you're going to be able to do that because she don't have your best interest in mind. She has no idea how to be a partner. She's only looking out for herself. Now, here's what most simps will tell you.
Like my wife doesn't want to have sex with me. We used to have sex, now we never have sex. They'll talk about how the wife has changed. She used to be this way, she used to be that way. I always ask those guys the same question, like, well, what did you do to change? Boom. When did you stop showing up for her? At what point did you stop dating her? Because you presented something different, I'm guessing, 99% of the time. When you were dating, you presented this guy that was really interested in her, concerned about her emotions, concerned about taking care of her. And at some point you got married and you thought, now I just got to check boxes and I'm going to get what I want. Stop taking care of her. Stop being present. Stop showing up. There's a reason most of the time, you have some toxic females out there, there's a reason why most of the time women aren't showing up to the table anymore. They follow the man's lead. So if a man stops showing up, they stop showing up. And I'm telling you, man, like as I've dialed this in with my wife now, when I make sure she knows every day on some level how important she is to me, really authentic to her, spending time talking to her, making sure I tell her how beautiful she is, being real gentle and confident to her, being present with her in a conversation, listening to what she has to tell me, and not trying to solve it, just like being there for her. Like, baby, I love you. You're beautiful. I love you. Guess what? She's just this flower that blossoms. And all the feminine energy, all the support, all the sexual needs, everything that I need as a man, she gives me abundantly, and she does it generously and happily. And it's this really awesome dynamic. Any guy out there, if you're having this struggle in a relationship, it starts with you. It always starts with you.
All right. That is partly true. Let me tell you the part that is true first. You got to always be telling your woman she's beautiful, you love her, etc. That is just standard operating procedure in all marriages. Kiss her good morning, kiss her good night. That's just standard. I do that all the time. She leaves the house. Hey, baby, you going? Okay, bye. See you later. Boom. Make her feel like she's important. But I can tell you one thing. Even that, for a lot of modern women, becomes mundane and old. Okay? And whether you do it or not, in their head, it becomes routine. You understand me? So I'm telling you, that is not what makes women turn off sexually. Why women turn off sexually is already ingrained in them before you even got to them. Remember what I said earlier about social media, about all the trappings of attention, the dopamine hits from all of the freaking attention she had when she was in her younger days. Now, he's an older guy, so he probably have a much more traditional wife, and it works for her. It works for me and my wife, okay? She was complaining I wasn't giving her enough attention. I wasn't present, so I increased that. That helped. But so many men are doing and going way beyond what he's saying, giving their wife everything, and they still end up getting screwed sexually, meaning not getting any sex. Or the woman has starfished, going through the freaking routine. A lot of them have other lovers. The man gets the tail end, the sloppy second, so to speak. So, gentlemen, I'm not discouraging you from getting married. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you think that you're going to get married just to have some consistent sex, get that shit out of your head right now. Get it out of your head. And like this gentleman last night, his sex drive at 60 is like mine. Still extremely high. Still extremely high. He takes care of himself.
We took a massive poll and asked husbands, what do you want your wife to know about sexual intimacy in your marriage? Husband number 1 said, please don't treat sex like a chore. We want you to desire making love to us. Husband number 2 said, the connection part is the best part of making love. Don't do it out of duty. Number 3 is make love with us, not for us. With us. Be into it. Number 4 is we enjoy it so much when you're really into it. Husband number 5 said, confidence is so sexy. Be confident in the bedroom and with your body. We love you for who you are. Another husband said, although you might feel like sex is icing on the cake for us husbands, sex is actually the eggs in making the cake for us. It's deeper than that. Number 7 husband said it is a legitimate need to desire to connect with you. Another husband said, please initiate. This is how we feel the very most loved. The ninth husband says, we love when you communicate about sex with us and tell us what you want. We want you to enjoy it too.
Yes. Ladies, if you want successful marriages, you better listen to that, because every one of those points are valid as hell. The most important one is the initiation. You have to initiate sex. There's nothing worse than when a man feels like he's begging for sex and you are just rationing it out whenever you feel like. He wants to feel like, hey, you know what? She still finds me attractive. She still finds me sexy. The lack of initiation seems to be the biggest problem. Next to that one is the intimacy. Make yourself present while you're there. Hug your man, kiss your man. You know one thing about going to a prostitute? She is a professional at pretending that it is intimate. And men are happy with that. Most men are so starved of intimacy that the fake intimacy is perfect. That's how low the bar is. All right, my friends, listen, I don't want to drag this out too long. Subscribe if you haven't. And please go over to askanolderman.com. Book a session if you haven't before. And yes, come on over to the membership site. Come on in. Have some fun with us. Ladies, remember, you're free, okay? So come on in. Let's have some serious, deep conversation. Let's get a big community together. So my friends, until next time, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. See you in the next one. Cheers.